Nothing much. Just
You don't be happy that the damn thing falls over, right?
Yeah, but you want.
How are you, Gianna?
I'm good, twins. Okay.
It's good. Ooh.
That's exactly what I'm about to go change this.
Yeah, go take that top off. Beyonce don't like us just like everybody else.
I don't.
So, how are you?
I'm amazing.
Well, we know
Today's
that. Look
a
how that
great
light is in
day.
your face. Light is light.
I figured I would come correct with the lighting kings. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I got a whole lighting set up here. I was like, I'm not about to get on this damn live, and I'm not, proper.
Well, Chi-Town in the house.
Chi-Town gang gang. Sorry. All right. Y'all know I get triggered when I hear Chicago. I'm like,
clearly, because y'all are crazy out there.
Listen, when I tell you,
we're organized, crazy.
Yes, I have to say that.
I agree.
A chaotic safety.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, first of all, thank you for joining us for Black History Month. Thank you for joining us and allowing you to give your flowers. Yes. But let me tell you, she did this though.
Boom.
Gianna says, "I'm going to be on your show."
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
there was no. So she did a live, and I said, "Hey," and she said, "Hey, Hal, hook your sister up on your show, manifest a bitch." And I was like, "Okay, what are you doing Tuesday?" "Oh, I'll see you Tuesday." And here we are.
And here we are. I believe in manifestation and taking advantage when it's presented to you, So
you have to. So tell us about you and tell us about your journey. So you're from Chicago. Where are you living now?
Yes, I am downtown LA now.
Do you miss the snow?
Yes, I know that's really weird to say, but I get in these moods where I really don't make that face. I really have to go and get some cold weather, and how cold it's been in LA is my cup of tea. Like, I like when it's, I feel like I dress better when it's cold. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I'm a layers type of girl, and I know how to dress when it's really cold out. And so I don't know, but I enjoy LA weather though. But I do miss the snow.
It was negative something in Chicago.
I don't understand that.
And I'm going in about a couple weeks. So
no, it is unacceptable. Unacceptable. He has a video game. He plays like this Spider-Man video game, and it's like wintertime in New York. I don't even watch the game.
It's different. I'm in the house. It's warm. I can play.
I don't even watch the. I'm like, I don't even want to see the snow.
Have y'all spent like a snowed in winter cuddled up with family?
We're from New York.
Listen, but like cuddled up with family while it's snowing, and no.
That is my definition of hell. Being cooped up in the house with my family.
Oh man, with a glass of whiskey.
It will be like a Jerry Springer show. With fried chicken.
When I say family, that could be anybody. That could be lovers. That could be, whatever.
It just makes you want to go to sleep. Like, snow makes me not want to go do anything. It makes me depressed. It just makes me not want to work. I don't want to do nothing.
I will say this. I made the decision to move to LA in the middle of a snowstorm. And it was like negative 10 something degrees. And I said, you know what? I've lived my life long enough to deal with this in the winter. So now it's really cool because, palm trees and sunshine in the winter out here. So it's nice.
Like, isn't it amazing to sit by the pool in December?
I love taking pictures and sending it to people that's still in Chicago. I'm like, how are y'all winters going? How are y'all winters going?
I do that all the time. I'll send photos of the beach. At Miami, Malibu, here you are.
Right, exactly.
So let's talk about you and your journey, because we can talk about snow in Chicago for the next hour, and I know you got things you need to do.
Yeah.
Tell us who you are. What type of photography do you do?
I am a all natural light portrait photographer. Sometimes I pop the flash on my camera, but whatever. I'm an all natural light portrait photographer. I wanted to start in fashion. So I actually moved to Paris to try to do that. Realized I hated everything about Fashion Week in Paris. It's brutal. It's very cutthroat. I didn't like it, y'all. I didn't.
Why?
I thought it was very...
Was it Fashion Week you didn't like, or was it Paris you didn't like?
Paris is amazing, and I'll be getting property out there.
Okay.
No, let's make that very clear.
Okay.
I'll be getting property in Paris. The fashion industry in general. I still work for a couple of people in fashion, but immersing myself in that really let me know just how fake a lot of it is. And so since I experienced it and I was front row at these fashion shows taking pictures and trying to get, it's just so phony. I don't know. It's just very, I like one-on-one. I don't like the physical aggression that people have in the fashion industry with photographs. So I really enjoy being a portrait photographer because I get to sit down with people, you know, and
So
I
let
get
me
to
ask you
know
a
people.
question. So you thought it was phony in Paris? Is that what you said?
Say that again?
You said it was phony in Paris, correct?
For Paris Fashion Week, yeah.
Yeah, but then you moved to LA.
Oh, this is what I needed to do. So I was already in LA when I decided to go to Paris.
Okay.
So I ended up getting my clientele here. You tried it. I ended up getting my clientele here. And so
Right.
I stayed here because it was way more beneficial for me in LA to have those one-on-one sessions with clients versus back in Chicago or staying in Paris for that, you know. But yeah, I have my clientele here. I had already built my clientele before I decided to go because I really just wanted to see how it was in person. Didn't like it, and now I'm doing one-on-ones, and I'll have y'all soon in front of my camera.
So, ooh.
In the matching
So-
sweatshirts. In the matching sweatshirts.
Oh no!
Oh no.
No, that'll never happen.
This is a mistake.
No.
No. That happened.
This
I'm
was-
about to take it
This
off.
was everybody sat down and we did. Oh, that's how that was. It's laundry time. That's what that means. So
Yeah.
let me ask you,
Gotcha.
what's the difference with the climate of photography in Chicago versus Los Angeles for you?
I don't think that there's that much of a difference. This is what happened. I was doing photography in Chicago for years. I'm 10 years, you know, doing this now. I set goals. And so when I reached my cap in Chicago, I was like, I need a change of pace. And so I have still my clientele in Chicago. I still have, you know, the connections and the money definitely still resides there. But I had already hit my limit. And I realized that people are just willing to pay more somewhere else. And I wanted to broaden the type of artist. I work with a lot of music artists. So I wanted to broaden the artist portfolio for me. So it just, I don't know, I just reached my cap. There. And I don't think I'm gonna be in LA long either. Too much longer.
Where you planning on going?
I would love to experience Texas to the fullest extent. I have my clients there as well. Yeah, I'm trying to get up and go and experience as many places before, you know, I get locked down with a man, you know what I'm saying? And I still got the freedom and the youth to do that. And so I want to experience as many places as I can and see where I can finally call home later. So
Did you get a chance to see our interview with Holly?
I saw half of it. I keep missing
Because
these
you talk
interviews.
like Holly.
Yeah,
she just
she
said
just-
getting up
Somebody
and go.
said that in one of the rooms that I was in. I was like, who is that? And then I ended up peeping who she was. And I was like, okay, I can see that for sure.
She's a goer.
She's a goer. She's
Yeah.
like you said, I'm going to Texas. She
Same thing.
just insert the word India.
Yep.
Or insert the word Dubai. Like she
Yeah.
wants,
And just
let's go.
And
Because
it's a plan with it. I want to establish myself in multiple areas of the world. And so I have my clients in Paris. I have my clients in Chicago. I have clients now in Texas, now that I, you know, going back and forth to Texas. And I want to get established in New York. I want to get I just want to experience it, but I know that you have to physically be somewhere for a while to do that. My name is, you know, getting spread in LA, you know, at a good pace. And now I want to take that worldwide, honestly. I want to be intimate with the locations that I go to.
So how long have you been in Los
Nice.
Angeles?
It'll be 9 years, August 8th this year.
Wow.
But
Right.
let me correct that. I've been in California 9 years. I was in Ventura, California for the first 4. So I've been in LA for about 5.
That's different. How did you like Ventura? Why Ventura? Out of
I
all
love
Like,
places?
why Texas?
Yeah.
Listen, I loved Ventura. If I could move back to Ventura, I would move back. It just was no clientele, and me traveling back and forth to Los Angeles every weekend was just a lot. And I was like, I just need to make the move to LA so I can be close to all of my clients, because I had clients traveling to Ventura. It was just a lot. I love Ventura. I want a house on the beach in Ventura. It was great. But I went there initially for Brooks Institute of Photography.
Oh, okay. Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So what were you doing before you ventured into this world of photography? What was Gianna's life like?
I was in school. I actually didn't know I was artsy until 9 years ago.
Okay.
So I got gifted a camera for Christmas by my dad, and I was already away in school studying business, entrepreneurship, and got my degree. And when I say, a lot of people say overnight as a metaphor, but literally overnight, I got gifted this camera. I did a mock setup with my roommate in my college dorm. And by the next morning, I was like, damn, I really like that. And I just dove into it full force. And so I was in school. I was getting my degree, and I decided to get up and go. And
What made your
completely
father give you a camera as opposed to a painting easel?
Well, my dad, he gifts all of us, he gifted all of us, all the siblings, just little point and shoots. It was a hot pink Kodak point and shoot. And so, you know, like $30 each. And he gave all the kids one. Everybody else, I don't know what they did with, I don't know what they did with the cameras, but I was like, this is dope. And I like what I can do with this. And I kept it. And then I ended up finding a mentor in Chicago who gifted me a full camera, like an actual. And so I started with Canon. My first real camera was a Canon Rebel XS, and I started taking pictures around my church. And then the dean of my school hired me for like engagement photos for like $50, and I was like, what? I can make money from this. This is crazy. So literally, she was my first client, and it just took off from there. And then to this day, I haven't had to really go pay for anything. A lot of people just gift me, you know, different equipment things. And so I've been really blessed in that area. So I got gifted a Nikon, and I was like, cool, I'll learn a Nikon. And I haven't looked back since. I love Nikon. So
you're like a hooker. They just give you things.
They give hooker things?
Yeah, they give them money, they give them gifts, they give them trips.
They don't give them things. You have to work for that.
You have to work for those,
right?
But they do. You know what? You can consider me a photo hooker. That's fine, because I give them friendship and love and
companionship,
support in return. So
what is
call
your
me
sign?
the photo hooker.
What is your sign?
Can you guess?
You
You want to know something? You want to know something? I love this fact. So I'm a Leo, through and through. Through and through. My birthday falls on World Photography Day, August 19th.
Oh, that's
so there's a reason why you.
That's
so did they make it for you, or did you make it for them? Like World Photography Day, they did it for you, right?
Absolutely. As soon as I came out the womb, they said, we're going to do this.
Leos be bossed up. Y'all be bossed
don't play.
They saw me. They said her finger looks like she will be shooting cameras one day. And
He's more like this.
And that's why I have say cheese tattoo. So people can see that.
Oh, that's dope.
So let's talk about your photography out here. Once you came out here, you were inundated with artists, models, and your work is very, very raw in its feel, but it's going to be hard to say. Sophisticated raw is the best answer I can give it, because sometimes people will look at the term raw as negative, and I really don't, because people look at my work and say, oh, it's polished and all this shit. But your work doesn't have that. Your work is almost cinematic in its style, that it almost looks like movie stills.
Oh my gosh, that's the second time I heard that this year. I've never heard that before this year.
So that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
So, and your manipulation of natural light, it's not that, okay, oh, we put them in the sun. It looked like you were picking places that you can manipulate it to make it work for you and make it look like this could have been studio lighting and I'm just hooking it up. How did you come across that style, or did it just evolve by itself?
When I was in school, so I wanted to get my teaching license, because I did teach photography in Chicago to students, obviously students, to young children. And so I wanted to expand and I wanted to get to an older audience. So I moved to California, went to Brooks to get the just the degree so I can teach at a higher
Get the
level.
paperwork out the way.
But while I was in school, I realized just how much, and no shade, I hated studio lighting. I would,
Turn
I
that
would,
shit off.
live is over. All of the assignments, I noticed organically that I thrived when we got natural light assignments, and we would get ranked. I would have loved for y'all how y'all two operate specifically, you and also Audrey and Sharon actually, is how all my professors operated. So they're very, very direct with certain things, and I I sucked at studio lighting halfway because I hated it. Like I hated the whole process of it, but they would pit us against each other in class. And so it was very competitive. But I almost all the time came at the top with natural lighting. And I didn't realize what I was doing, right, until I got ready to graduate. And I was like, we had to get our portfolio reviews, right? Our portfolio reviews came around, and all of the judges they just kept talking about my natural lighting. And I was like, I think after I graduate, I'm never gonna touch another studio light again, because, and mind you, I know it in and out. So when I get asked to assist, it's very easy for me. Like I can come in, I know all of the studio lightings. I just personally, it just wasn't my thing. So that organically became a talent of mine that I didn't even know. And I just realized that I thrived when they would tell us to go outside and shoot. And it just came out a little bit different than a lot of my peers who gravitated towards studio lighting, you know. So that's how that happened. But I also use light as a way to just storytell. Anyone who has shot with me knows that I'm very specific on where the lighting should be and what time of day we need to shoot. So I do miss a lot of opportunities, and that's perfectly fine because my audience will be for me, right? But I do miss a lot with people who want to shoot, you know, later in the day. I'm very attracted to harsh shadows and harsh lighting. Sorry, I'm getting calls by people I told.
Of course you are.
So I naturally just started, you know, gravitating towards that. So that's just what that is. It was an organic thing.
So moving to California was almost a godsend because you never have to look at the calendar to understand the weather. You just go, we're going to shoot today. Maybe
Exactly.
a little bit in January, February.
Exactly.
But we would live in New York. People say, I want to do a location shoot. And I'm looking at the weather in Chicago 5 days earlier to see what the weather's going to be like in New York. And moving to California, we never had to do that. We always had sunshine.
Yeah, it's always had sunshine.
It's been very sunny. Now that you just mentioned that, I guess that's why I stayed here longer than I've stayed anywhere else, because it's just easier to shoot. But I've never thought about that. But that's a great point. Never thought about that.
No, when we got here, it was like moving out here, it was hard to find studio space and stuff like that because everybody sat outside.
Yeah, New York is different. Like we team up and form these collectives, and you work out of studio, and you just
in the wintertime and in the summertime you do it outside.
Out here, it's like, yeah, you can use my studio. It's like,
yeah,
right.
So we had to learn the culture here.
Yeah.
What was the culture shock for you coming from Chicago to here?
Honestly,
people-wise, photography-wise, business-wise.
It doesn't have. It's honestly food-wise. Every time I talk about this topic, the culture shock was the food. Honestly, I ain't got half the shit that I had in Chicago. So, just me understanding and diving more into just a healthier lifestyle. Everybody here really is on their healthy shit. Versus, sorry, can I curse y'all? Y'all know I got a bad mouth.
Yes,
you already there now.
I know. I'm sorry.
Hooker.
No, it really was the food. As far as business, I guess just me understanding how passive aggressive people are in LA compared to the East Coast. I'm very, very used to directness. I'm used to getting to the point, and not playing ring around the rosy with conversation. And so I think I had a harder time. I'm very personable, so I don't mind introducing myself to people. But conversation with not even people born and raised in LA. The people who moved from somewhere and now think that they are LA are those people that I'm talking about.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so
yes.
I find that people born and raised in LA are perfectly fine. I don't have a problem at all because it's like they know their grounds, right? But it's the ones that came here, made a bunch of money, and it's hard to do business with now because I can't. It's a passive aggressiveness and an ego attached to a lot of people that live in LA, and it's harder a little bit to connect with people here versus the East Coast. I'm very aggressive in how I talk, and the sensitivity level here is ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
like it's like living in clubhouse land. It'd be like, God damn.
Listen,
Yeah, and between the
I
two of
know.
us, he's the buffer because if you allow me to do the talking, we'll never get booked.
No.
See,
But what I learned that with people out in LA is just listen to them. That's it. Don't listen more than you speak, and when you speak, have something to say. And on top of that, like, don't add that little extra something because it's usually
that
not
it's
needed.
always an extra something, ain't it? It's
Yeah,
always a
it's
little bit of
always.
extra something. Yeah, I don't know,
So
but I
those
respect
things
it.
are needed.
I respect it. I'm here, long, so
Yeah.
And you've been here a while, so right.
right. So
One
I
thing
can't
do
talk
like,
too
they pay
much.
your rate. And they pay your rates. That's one thing I'll say. You just have to.
I cannot.
You don't
One
have to
thing I
nickel and
will
dime right here.
say, when I go back to Chicago with the rates that I have in LA, I get 10 times more pushback. People here are like, cool, because we know about, rent and everything else. And by now people are used to my rates. I go back to Chicago, they're like, oh, you just so LA with your prices. And I'm like, yeah, actually, I am.
When we were teaching Charin
Yeah.
about his rates, he was like, oh, that's that New York shit.
Yeah,
It's
nobody booked me here for that price.
What they do now.
Yes,
I've never been
So-
to New York.
Give it
Listen,
time. It's like a dirty Chicago
It's a dirty Chicago with
better food.
oh, okay, yeah.
It is.
And it's a lot of direct people. It's a lot of direct people.
The food is good.
It is.
Because I know you miss pizza.
Yeah, but I've never had New York pizza. But
It's
yes.
different.
Oh no, I'm just talking about pizza in general. It doesn't matter. I know we don't get good pizza out here.
Deep dish pizza is where it's at.
Oh God, no. That's
Y'all
like lasagna and a loaf of bread.
Listen.
We've had that. So let's talk about your photography and where do you see yourself going and who are your inspirations?
I have a lot of inspirations. My inspiration, honestly, and I don't know if this is gonna sound cliche. I look up to a lot of photographers, but my inspirations come from my clients individually. And so because I have conversations with everybody when they show up, I always am left with something to pull from in regards to, I like sharing ideas. I like creative consulting with people. I like knowing where people are from. And so when I get into these conversations with everyone, and I talk to everybody, whenever I get into these conversations, it's always like, damn, wow, that's really dope. Like I could utilize that for, some creative shooter or something. So
Give us an example.
Ooh, I shoot with, okay, my most recent Sunday, Mariama and Broderick.
Okay.
He's becoming a really, really good friend of mine through him hiring me for photos now. The way that they live their life, they're very fast paced. They're very very, very personable. But me being around them in their space, I realized that I want to do this on a personal traveling photographer level, just from being around them. And so the inspiration with them is like, I can do this if I wanted to, with people individually hiring me to just follow them around. And I love doing that. Like I love being in, people's spaces like that, because it becomes more intimate and the relationships become more organic. So that was from them, I've been inspired every time I'm around them. And then my friends, all of my friends are really creative, right? And so when I shoot my friends, for example, Alex Vaughn, who's in here, I'm waiting on her to come back.
Yes, he's commenting a lot.
Yeah, that she's one of my closest friends, but I'm also her personal photographer. But every time we're around each other, I leave with, I could be working inside of studios now with like recording artist studios and doing behind the scenes things with her. And then I'm getting introduced to all these people that's in the music industry. So it's creative conversation that's really, really inspirational to me. And it just keeps me going. And you know how people get overwhelmed with if they're booked too much, like their creative level kind of drops because they're just doing what the client wants all the time. The great thing about shooting with my friends and my business partners at Higher Creative, shout out to them, is I am always being able to be myself creatively. And so the inspiration is really organic just from being around the same people. And people get tired of being around the same people every day. I thoroughly enjoy my group of friends because we always come up with new ideas and new concepts and new ways to make money together and to keep each other put on. And so, yeah, clients, friends, not necessarily photo inspirations, because I just learn from everybody, you know, and I don't really have conversations and creative talks with the big time people. Like, this is my first one doing that with people that I actually look up to and that I actually learn from on a daily basis. So
big
time. We got the goats.
Well, things have been changing since the murder of George Floyd.
Yes.
And a lot of the Black women photographers are getting into places that they didn't have before.
Yeah. The demand of female photographers has increased
incredibly. And Holly just joined us. Great. Hey, Holly. So my question becomes to you: have you been seeing the changes of women photographers getting into places they weren't before? And
our strength is like,
and how do you feel about that?
This is an interesting topic because a part of me feels like this is a very beautiful thing that we now have access. Since George Floyd, I have gotten responses from people I reached out years ago to, right? I am getting hit up by companies that I never thought I would hear back from, companies that I have been left on red by, literally seeing nothing, right? And then they'll come to me and they're like, hey, we would love if you were a part, right? So part of me is like, yes, we're getting in, we're getting recognition. But the other part of me questions the genuineness behind it as well, because it's hard for me to put in words. I feel like, is this saving face for a lot of these companies? Is this showing like, yes, I'm on Black women's side or Black people's side now, so let me reach out and let me see who have came in contact with me before and let me show that I'm here? Or is it genuine? So I have a hard time, because I've gotten multiple people I've reached out to years ago who has hit me in the last year. And so it's like, dope, this is amazing. I'm about to really get a bag. It's getting easier now for me to get into places. But the other side, I always have in the back of my mind, like, are you really for us? Or are you just doing this to save face a little bit?
Well, let me help you just a little bit. Yes. And yes. So what?
And maybe your work has gotten better and it reached them in a different place now as well.
And also,
you know what? That honestly could be it too. I have gotten more opportunities and gotten my foot in the door since my project that I did, surrounding Black men specifically, since my Black His Story project a couple years ago. So that has definitely been a part of it. So, and it's gotten better. I found my style over the last 2 years.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so what's your style?
Exactly what you said earlier. It is a rawness behind it. I've stopped trying and just have been doing me entirely. with my photo shoots. I've learned to say no to things that is not conducive to me as an artist. And if I can't be free in my editing. Now, of course, I still, I got contracts with people, so I can't, go too far, what I want to do. But I've really fell into who I am as an artist the last couple of years. And yeah.
Okay, I'm happy about that.
Can you tell us about your project? I want to hear more about your project and where can we see it?
Yeah. Yes. It always. I'm gonna try not to cry when I talk about it because it really means a lot to me.
Girl. Cry.
No. I didn't put on no eye makeup for a reason because I'm a crybaby. I'm like, I need to keep it fresh. My project was the most important thing that I've done in my career. I needed a lot of healing, and so I needed a lot of healing from Black men. And the best way for me to do that was to find the forgiveness, from Black men as a whole, but from strangers. And so I just decided to start asking people if I could interview them, sit down with them and interview them. So for Black History Month, 2 years ago, I just started interviewing Black men. And I just started with the question, what is it like being a Black man in America? And from there, the conversation just flowed. I didn't have any other follow-up questions. I just wanted it to be an organic conversation, and I would take photos and portraits of them after, while the emotions were still there. And then it got to bigger names. And then with every name, I would ask, who's the most famous person in your phone? Do you think they will want to be a part of this project? And so it just grew from there. And everybody said yes.
You just gave me goosebumps with that.
Yeah, everybody said yes. So Mario actually kicked off my entire project, and it just set fire. And my team over at Higher Creative has been pushing me to do the Black Her Story, because now I have A-list, people with that. But how fast that hat grew intimidated me so much that I know that when I do the Black Her Story, I don't want to feel overwhelmed because I got hit for magazine interviews and podcasts and all this stuff, and it went crazy. But I know the impact that the Black Her Story would have with the names that I have accumulated now, with personal relationships, but I don't think I'm ready just yet. But they're pressuring me. I was supposed to have it done already, but they're
So let me ask you this question. You said you're not ready yet. What will it take for you to get ready?
I don't know. Malachi asks me this all the time. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just nervous about it for whatever reason. I do not have a reason. I think because it's so personal to me that if anything goes wrong, or if there's too many feet in the pot with it, I'm afraid. I know that my team won't let my creativity and my idea and the personalization with it be put to the side. I know that it'll still be my project. But I think because this started from me interviewing friends and family 5 years ago with women, I just didn't expect it to get to where it did. So I just have a nervousness behind it. I was the only one that was involved. And then the Black History, a couple of people were involved. And now that I have a whole team, we're trying to do it, big and, put events behind it and everything. So I don't know. I need to just do it. But there is a nervousness behind it.
I think you're ready.
Yeah, and where can we see it?
Because it won't happen until you do it.
The history. Wait, can we find it anywhere?
You're talking about the history. She's talking about her story.
No, she's talking about finishing the project. I want to know the project that she did already. Where is it?
Yeah, it's on. I had it on my website. I took it down because I'm revamping my whole website. But right now it's on my Instagram. You can just scroll. When you start seeing all of the pictures of only men, it's 3, 3, 3, 3. The middle photo of all of them are the actual audio interviews. And so you can, so it's 3 portraits of all of them, and the interviews right in the middle for everybody.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for this information.
Yeah.
Do your history. Quit playing.
Yeah.
You
It's
just got
just
to
a
do it.
lot
Once
behind
you
it.
jump off the building, there's only one way to go. So
Yeah.
just do it.
I know.
Just
We
do it.
want to
We're going to be
incorporate.
your
We want to incorporate
accountability.
video now.
Okay, you need videographers?
I do. I'm trying to learn how
We'll
to,
send you.
you know.
We'll send you our reel so you can see what we do.
Yes.
Yeah, but somebody just said redrop history. Somebody said redrop it. So it's time to.
That's
It's Black
Malachi.
History
So
Month.
Malachi, can I just give him like a 30-second little shout out just really quickly?
This is your show, baby. It's about you.
Let me let y'all know something. Malachi is the founder, creator of Higher Creative. I'm the lead photographer of the business, right? And so Malachi brought me on after he did this, and he literally has like changed so much of my life in LA. He's gotten me more gigs, more opportunities than almost anybody, but most importantly, he was a huge part of the healing process that I had to do with Black men and having platonic friendships with Black men, and putting the definition of platonic back into, friendships and relationships. And he really changed like the trajectory of where I was going. And now I have like this solid group of men that's in my life that's critically protective over me. And
And you got 2 more.
And now I got 2 more, doing what I despise, which is studio. I love it. I love watching it from afar.
Well, we're glad about that. How does your family and your family in Chicago before you pick up the camera and now where you are? How were they supportive?
Oh, literally, I told my family that I wanted to move. I don't think my mom believed me right away until I was like packing my bags, pretty much, because I made the decision within like a month to leave. And so, but when it came to photography, I remember I think I told my dad first. I called him and I was like, I think I want to do this full time. And he said, let me know what you need. And my mom did the exact same thing. They said, let me know what you need.
So
and we'll be here with whatever. My mom and my dad and my siblings are hands down my biggest cheerleaders with everything. And so, sorry, I miss my mom.
Aww. Well, you'll see in a couple of weeks, right?
I know. Yeah. I'll see her soon.
Aww.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I am. I told you I'm a crybaby.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So you get to play in the snow and all that stuff?
Yeah, with my nieces, so it'll be good.
Aww.
It'll be really good.
You miss your family. I
get
Woo. I'm grown, y'all. I'm grown as hell. So
well,
I know I look
glad
like
that
a baby,
you
but
decided to do this interview with us. I'm so happy because she said you're going to be interviewing me, and I was like, it was pure Leo, and I was like, okay, what are you going to do? So I'm glad that we had a chance because you've only been voice and photos to us.
Yes, and every time you speak in the rooms, it's like, oh, she dope.
Always. So I'm glad.
It's those, you can tell those East Coast sort of the directness and the honesty in the conversations.
Well, I knew she was cool because no matter what I said in the room, she didn't get pissed off about it. It's like, well, you need to tell them that.
Oh no. And those who do, it's just not their cup of tea, and that's okay. I have had to defend you a lot, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I keep telling them.
But they're defending my directness.
I've defended just the conversation. I've had people hit me off to the side like, how do you stay in a room with Dallas? I say, he ain't doing nothing. This is how he talk. Leave him alone. He's fine. If you don't want to be
and the funny thing about it is when you get to the situation, I have to ask 1 or 3 questions. Are you mad at what I said, or how I said it, or because it's true? Because I'm never because if you think about it, I'm never disrespectful. I'll never say to someone, "Oh my God, your work is garbage."
Oh my God, Dallas, I literally just had a whole conversation about you 2 nights ago and explained that.
God.
I had to explain it. I did. But you're not for everybody. I'm not for everybody, and they ain't for everybody. And it's a lot of people that ain't for charm, you know what I'm saying? But it's Chicago, it's New York, you know, it's just how we talk. So it will take a lot for me to actually feel disrespected. But nah, you don't say nothing disrespectful. You check people where they need to be checked, and that's that.
Let me ask you a question. Is it easier for you out here in LA to get business and to get new clients because of your directness? Because I find that people in LA aren't used to it, but when they get it, they appreciate
it.
Yep. Someone asked me this end of last year. Is it easier because of the personality that I have? I think that people are so used to the passive aggressiveness that they don't realize that it's passive aggressiveness until I come in and I'm like, hey, yes or no, you know, or you ask me an opinion. I watch people be taken aback by my opinion, because what I don't do is just say yes or no and leave it at that. I say yes or no, and then I explain why the yes or the no happened. And so a lot of people not used to that. They're just used to the maybe, and it's like, nah, just tell me how it is. And so I see the respect and I see the appreciation that people have for me. Thankfully, I don't have problems with anyone that I come in contact with, but I see is she talking to me like that? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
With a smile. Let me say yes with the heart at the end. Yes. Okay. Tis I.
They're not used to it, and I love that part, that shot, because it's usually not raw or anything. It's just like,
and it's honest.
It's like, no.
Right.
What? Did you just tell me no?
And it's
exactly.
Honest. Yes, I did.
So how do you like shooting the celebrities and stuff out here?
Yeah.
And the artist?
My bills are paid. I like it. I mean, I feel like the higher the clientele, I will say my clientele list tripled from the Lil Nas X shoot that I did, and I started to get bigger people from that. But I mean, they bleed the same blood as we do. I have not yet. I've yet to experience.
Anyway.
I get more shook by people that aren't known that I've been following a long time. You know, so when I get shoots with like Kenyon Dixon, you know, he's blowing up very quickly. He's a music artist. He's brought R&B back to the platform. But a lot of people are like, oh, you feel some type of way about him. And I'm like, I get excited. I get, you know, I'm like, yes, let me, you know, look put together because it's Kenya. And people are just like, who is that? And I'm like, y'all will know eventually. But I like people that's underneath the table that I ride with, you know, versus who everybody knows. So.
Right. So if you had your ideal shoot, who would it be with?
How did I know y'all was going to ask me this question?
Because I asked everybody the question.
I know. Dead or alive?
You get to pick. This your move. This is your show.
I would love Jasmine Sullivan. I would love Jasmine Sullivan. Jasmine Sullivan is on my heavy wish list. And obviously Beyonce, but whatever. That'll happen.
Do you want me to give you a direct? Do you want me to give you a direct access to her?
I don't have it.
I know what asked you.
Okay.
Do you want direct access to her?
Yes.
Ask Broderick.
Oh yeah, he's a good one.
Broderick is a direct access to Jasmine.
Yeah, he introduced me to Jasmine.
You're welcome.
Is Broderick in here? I'm literally gonna text him. I'm seeing Mariama in about 30 minutes. So okay, all right, bet. I didn't know. I know he knows a lot of people, but I don't.
Manifestation.
I have to get better because I always feel like if I ask for certain contacts, you know, that it'll come off like you're using my. But we're actual like friends, so yes.
Well,
yes.
even if I learned out here that a lot of people
have to ask
because they wouldn't know. They'd be like, oh, I didn't know you wanted to meet such and such and such. Like, we got a ton of friends in the industry, and they'll be like, why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you say anything? And all the time, that's literally the thing. Like, why didn't you do this thing? And it's like, all right, I have to make sure I make an effort to reach out to people. I have to make sure I make the effort to ask these questions if it's somebody I want to know.
Because they can only say no.
The worst thing to say is no.
And you know, I'm good for saying that. I'm always like, people, the worst thing they can say is no or leave you on read. But yeah, wow, that's crazy.
They gave you tell them they gave you the okay. They said, you know, Jasmine Sullivan, hook a sister up.
He introduced me to Jasmine Sullivan because I love her.
Because he's a crazy fan.
And I am I don't say I'm a fan of a lot of people, but woo, I
we went to the Essence Fest together. We went to dinner one time. Went to Essence Fest together.
Look at you.
It was dope. She cool. She cool.
And she needs new material now because she has the album.
And she got a whole new style.
We gonna make that happen.
It's another stylist too.
And if you need studio lighting,
she won't. No,
I'm not gonna need studio lighting.
Well, she laughed at it. Like, studio lighting? Oh, no. That's hilarious.
That was funny.
So now you put it out there. I'm glad I asked the question, because if I didn't ask the question, I wouldn't have known.
Yes.
So that's how you do it.
You shot a lot of people in LA. What was your most memorable shoot? Like, what was your favorite? Like, okay, this is dope. This is incredible. I love this.
As far as the vibe on set or the way the
it's your story.
Anything. As far as it could have been. It was great because I got paid. It could be anything.
As I go on my Instagram, one of the best shoots I have had. Oh man. You know what? I'll tell you. Juneteenth, I did an event for Juneteenth and Father's Day. And so I went to Leimert Park, set up one backdrop with one stool, and I had a sign made that was all fathers get free portraits today.
We gotta start doing these things. Y'all young kids be letting me have it.
That was one of the most incredible days, because you don't realize how many people don't get good photos taken of them. And just to see the transformation, you know, when they look in the back of the camera and say, oh my God, you know, and I've never had a portrait taken, but to get portraits taken with your children, and you don't have to pay anything, that was probably the highlight of 2020 for me. For sure. That meant so much to all of the dads. And everybody got photos with and it's a lot of these children who are missing these photos, the evidence that, you know, my dad is here. And I talked to one family. It was one family who messaged me separately, sent me an email after I sent the photos. And she said she was a wife that was standing on the side with it. And I also offered full family portraits too. She said my kids hadn't seen their dad it was about 3 or 4 years he was locked up. And she said that was the first photo that they took, and that their kids, when she showed them the photograph, that they all got really emotional. And there was a father of like 5. And they all were there together. And so to get that type of feedback and to see that photography really changes people's lives, you know,
yes,
and that goes directly into what I do and why I do it. And honestly, that goes into why I use natural light. Now, I want it to be as natural as possible, you know, that the skies have to offer, and just, you know, change lives with it. So that was a really important day. And that can be found on my page too. You will see a photo of a guy with a little baby.
Series, yeah.
We're proud of you, Gianna.
Yeah, you doing it, and I'm loving that it's affecting you, and you're allowing it to heal.
You're allowing to heal yourself as well.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
So we're happy that you're doing this. I love
some Chicago. I'm telling you, y'all
Chicago,
y'all cool as hell. I can't go there. Y'all crazy. It's so different.
But I'm finding it's not that they're crazy. I'm finding that they're passionate as hell.
Yeah. I've been to Chicago so many times. Listen,
We thought about moving there until we
heard about y'all winters.
The winter stopped us from
It was
moving
like,
there.
nah.
Go all the time. That's why I know about that nasty ass deep dish pizza.
Yeah, no.
Woo!
Yes, we are.
I'm gonna remain silent. Go ahead.
Are you all right? What's wrong?
Oh, there's like a small delay, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna remain silent on that piece of comment. But go ahead.
So let me ask you this, which I ask everybody. Give me 3 adjectives that describes Gianna.
Passionate. Very, very, very passionate. Intentional. And honest.
Okay.
I like those. Sounds like
So back to you.
Super hater. Just a hater.
What would you give back to the younger sisters today who were on the fence about maybe following their artistic dreams? What would you tell them?
There's never going to be a right time to start, so just do it. And when you start living for yourself, that is when things happen organically with your passion and your art. And nobody, no matter how against someone may be with the desires of your personal heart, we only have one life to live. And I think when it comes to art, you can be a little bit selfish with what your heart wants to do. There's never going to be a right time. And I'm talking to me now. There's never going to be a right time. And I just need to, I really just went straight to me with this damn project that I need to do. There's never going to be a right time.
There you have
it. Just do it.
And because you enjoyed it, and it, believe it or not, it healed a lot of people, and it sounded like it was a lot of work, but also a lot of fun. You got a lot of reward from it.
Exactly. You got a lot of bonuses from it.
So the right time is now.
Yes, absolutely.
Listen to this young man. So now we'll come to the end of our interview because I know you have to go. Here's my last question for you. What's in your gear bag?
Y'all know I hate this goddamn gear talk. Oh my God.
Y'all, you listen.
Join the crowd.
I'm gonna tell you what is in my gear bag, okay? And it's the only thing that I ever show up with, no matter the budget of a shoot. It is a
all right.
Okay, that can have it. Well, we need to do a 3-second.
We gotta get our photo of you.
We're gonna get a photo of you now because Loretta Houston started this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We interviewed her about a year ago, and she was very displeased at the thumbnail that was used. So she said, "This time you're gonna get it the right way." So what we do is,
yes, I'm ready.
Together into the
pause
frame
for 3
and
seconds.
we hold it for 3 seconds to get a nice shot. So you ready?
Let's
get close. Let's get close. You ready? And the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Got it.
Char, you mad late, bro.
Oh man, we talked about you, Char. Where you been at?
Come on, man. You got mentioned 3 times.
At least.
Mad trash.
At least. Well, we know you got to get to work.
Yeah.
We want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank y'all.
And thank you for allowing us to give you your flowers. We love you. Please keep up the good work.
And we can't wait to see what you do next.
And we can't wait to see you in person so we can have a good time.
Yeah.
We love you. Please keep up the good work for all the sisters out here.
Absolutely.
Happy Black History Month.
Thank you. Happy Black History Life. Bye.